Law school is right around the corner. Here's how you should be preparing. First, make sure all of your paperwork is in order. I know this seems obvious, but law school requires a lot from you, so it's better to be safe than sorry. You need to send in your final transcripts from undergrad, you need to sign your letter of intent, and you need to register yourself for classes. You don't want to run into problems because of something so small, so do yourself a favor and double check. Speaking of classes, take a look at which ones you're taking. Most law schools will assign your classes for you your first year, so you don't really have a choice, but it's still a good idea to get a feel for what you're going to be studying. Look through the list and see what you're looking forward to and which ones you might not be that interested in. That way you can start planning your schedule out a little bit and seeing where you might need to spend some extra time. Some classes you can expect to take your first semester are legal writing, contracts, civil procedure, torts, property, or criminal law. Every school is a little bit different, so you won't take all of these your first semester, but by the end of your 1L year, you'll have gone through all of them. When you're looking at your classes, you'll also come across a list of required books. Don't skip over this thinking that you'll get the books later. Law school books are expensive and rentals run out quickly, so the faster you act, the better. Plus, it's not like undergrad where you can get away with not having the books the first few weeks. You will have assigned readings for your very first classes, and you don't want to show up unprepared. If you can't find a separate list of required books, then you'll find this information in your course syllabi. These may not be posted yet, but the second that they're up, I highly recommend that you check them out. They'll have a ton of useful information, such as what the curve is going to be, what type of material you'll be covering, and what book you need. Plus, most professors put their office hours and the office hours of the TAs in there, so you can start making your schedule a bit in advance. One thing that you don't want to do though is look your professors up on Rate My Professor. I know it can be super tempting to look and see what they're like, but like I said before, you don't have a choice with your classes or your professors your first year in most situations. And looking them up will only stress you out and have you going into the class with some bias. This is my personal preference. If you want to have that information, go ahead, but I personally found that some of the professors that had lower scores on Rate My Professor ended up being some of my favorites. And if I went into the class biased against them, I wouldn't have gotten nearly as much out of it. Now that you know a bit about what you're going to be studying, take the time to check out the school. You probably already saw the building when you toured the school earlier, but it's a good idea to go and give it a second look now that you're officially going to be a student. If you have your ID card and can get into the building, that's great. But if not, you should at least walk around the campus and the surrounding area so you get a feel for it. This is especially true if you're moving to a new area to start law school. It's super helpful to get a feel for the layout of your town or city before classes start. If you plan on walking or biking to campus, I highly recommend that you take that trip a few days before class starts, so that way you have a feel for what it's like. You should also keep an eye out for a place to grab coffee or just a quiet place to relax. It's a good idea to have these places in mind before you even start school, so you don't need to be searching while you're getting used to classes. Once you have a good feel for what you're going to be doing and what the environment is like, it's time to start the actual prep work. Law school is a ton of reading, so it's smart to be in the habit of already doing it. You don't need to be reading case law or legal doctrine right now, but you should be in the habit of reading regularly. This can be anything from novels and online news articles to manga or poetry. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're in the habit of reading so that way it's not too jarring when you get assigned a ton of reading on your first day. If you really want to get a jump start though, I recommend taking a look at some case law and philosophy. Most of your 1L year is going to be spent reading and analyzing case law, so it's a good idea to know what it looks like before you get started with classes. Philosophy, on the other hand, provides the justifications for why laws are in place, so reading it will give you a good understanding of all of the theoretical aspects of law. In particular, I recommend that you check out Immanuel Kant, John Stuart Mill, and Jeremy Bentham. If there's anything that you're curious about, ask questions. If it's about the start of school, reach out to student services, or if it's about law school more generally, ask a lawyer that you know or a friend that's gone through or is going through law school. Most of us are more than happy to help out. You're also more than welcome to reach out to me with any questions. Feel free to DM me on Instagram or just drop it in the comments of this video. The last thing you should be doing to prepare for law school is have fun. Once law school starts, you're going to have a ton of work to do, so enjoy the rest of your summer as much as you can. Spend time with family and friends and soak in the experience. Hopefully you feel prepared to start law school, but if not, check out this video where I go over the 12 things that I think you should know before starting law school.